opening scene, Watch Dogs refers to hackers as modern-day magicians. That's a good analogy for the bag of powerful but mostly scripted tricks we get to use in this huge and impressively detailed map of Chicago. With the push of a button, you can trigger environmental traps that smash pursuing cars, empty a citizen's bank account, or even remotely activate a grenade in an enemy's pocket. Hacking's not as dynamic as it appears at first, but the illusion gives us a bit more to do than there is in most third-person action games, and it puts on a great show. Our hero, Aiden Pierce, is an empty trenchcoat as far as personality goes. But the supporting cast is much more interesting. Ranging from an enthusiastic and cavalier fixer to a bumbling gangster, it's a likable and well-acted group. Character animations are elegantly done, too.
Cover yours.
Watch Dogs' completely open map is another big strength. It's huge, diverse, and intricately detailed. The rural area of Pawnee balances out Chicago's urban sprawl, and it all looks great, especially at sunset or during a rainstorm. Everything runs smoothly. However, after playing a few hours, I did start to experience frequent slowdowns when new mission objectives were loading up. This techno-thriller fiction is all about the power of information in a super-connected city, and one of its cleverest and most distinctive tweaks to the open-world genre is how much information it gives you. Scanning a pedestrian or thug pops up a brief, randomly generated personal history. It's a small thing, but it's surprisingly effective at humanizing them. Over more than 20 hours, the straightforward revenge story becomes more and more complex until it's bursting with intrigue. And then it takes a turn for the mundane when the motivations behind it all are revealed. For a game that deals with themes like surveillance society and media manipulation, Watch Dogs' villains just aren't thinking very big. It can last a lot longer than 20 hours though, because Watch Dogs has a steady stream of side quests and minigames. I'm a big fan of the gang hideout missions, which really let you test your stealth skills as you take down well-guarded targets. Most of the other activities can get repetitive, like the crime interventions that always result in the same foot chase. But there are so many types, from criminal convoy ambushes to chess and poker, that they don't get old quickly if you mix them up. The simple but delightful spider rampage should not be missed. I admire Ubisoft's restraint in only including one hacking puzzle minigame, and it's both clever and used infrequently enough that it doesn't become annoying. There's also the ability to take over any surveillance camera you can see, even some worn by guards, and it's put to good use as you try to establish line of sight on hacking targets. Unless you opt out, you're also routinely prompted to jump into multiplayer activities, like a simple race through the streets or a much more interesting cat-and-mouse game of tailing and hacking another random player. It's a setup with a lot of room for creativity and hilarious experimentation as you try to hide or blend in with the civilians. There's also the highly entertaining capture-the-flag-style decryption game, where one player desperately tries to evade the rest, and a challenging race where you have to evade traps and cops triggered by a player using the free iPad app. Watch Dogs' missions are much more stealth-focused than most open-world action games, which gives them some good variety. A smooth cover system and the obligatory time-slowing power make silenced headshots easy to score, and the wet, splattering sound it produces is a great, gross reward. I do wish there were fewer missions that auto-fail you if you're discovered, and that there were better rewards for using gadgets like the powerful blackout tool to ghost through an area without being spotted or knocking anyone out. The best missions give you the option to stealth or fight through, and that makes Aiden feel smarter than a typical guns-blazing maniac. After the bullets do start to fly, the cover-based gunplay feels good even if the arsenal is pretty conventional. What often makes the firefights memorable is how you can fool enemies by moving around behind cover. That allows you to get in some good flanking moves, and makes the enemies feel more like foolish humans than all-seeing robots. When you get in a car and drive, Watch Dogs is some good arcadey fun. Cartoonish crash physics and roads littered with tons of breakable objects make smashing through shortcuts spectacular and hilarious. However, car chases gradually become more and more disappointing and tedious because of their lack of combat options. You can't fire out the window as you drive, so all you can do is drive around hacking things to trigger hazards, and half the time you don't even see the car or trap involved in the wreck. One-button hacking might be overly simplistic, but it does give you abilities that make playing through Aiden's story feel powerful and fun. Doing side missions in multiplayer as you make your way through the dark and lengthy story makes it feel like a huge adventure, and stealth options let you play them smart if you prefer. Car chases aside, Watch Dogs is fundamentally very well made, and it has more than enough unique ideas to make it a great and memorable open-world action game. For more on Watch Dogs, stick with IGN.